Welcome to our course on GDPR, the European Union's General Data Protection Regulation.
We're here to provide you with valuable information about the GDPR, its significance for U.S. businesses, and how it compares to other privacy laws.
We live and conduct business within a digital landscape. Because of that, it is important that organizations become familiar with the key provisions and principles of the GDPR.
This includes information about the rights of individuals, the responsibilities of businesses, and the penalties for non-compliance.
The GDPR was adopted by the European Union in 2016 and went into effect on May 25, 2018. It mainly replaced the 1995 Data Protection Act. That particular legislation had been created over 20 years earlier. The use of individuals' personal data has grown tremendously since then.
The GDPR is a more comprehensive regulation that addresses both the protection and the processing of personal data of EU citizens. One purpose for creating this new regulation was to harmonize the different data privacy laws existing in Europe for the greater protection of citizens' rights and freedoms. In addition to strengthening the rights of individuals, the GDPR is more focused on accountability. Because of this emphasis, organizations must meet a high level of requirements to demonstrate their compliance with the regulation.
In replacing the 1995 Data Protection Act, the GDPR increased the control that individuals have over their personal information.
And that increased control applies to many people.
Because all of the 27 member countries of the EU are covered by the regulation.
In addition to the citizens of the 27 EU member countries, the law also protects the citizens of Iceland, Norway, and Liechtenstein, the European Economic Area.
Furthermore, even though the GDPR is an EU regulation, it doesn't just apply to European organizations. It has profound implications for businesses located outside of the EU. Why? Well, if an organization processes personal data of EU citizens for the purpose of offering goods or services to them, the law applies to that entity.
It also applies if a business monitors the behavior of EU citizens, such as through the use of cookies or location tracking. Basically, the EU has determined that its citizens' data protection rights should not be dependent on the location of the organization processing their data.
This obviously impacts U.S. businesses who have a global presence and regularly interact with the EU citizens' data. They must comply with the GDPR requirements for protecting that data, even if they are not physically located in the EU.
The GDPR is considered one of the strongest data protection regulations in effect today. It gives individuals much more control over their personal data and makes businesses handling that data accountable for protecting it. The regulation imposes strict rules for both using and securing all personal data collected, including mandating the use of specific safeguards.
Organizations face stiff penalties for non-compliance, which we'll talk more about in a later lesson.
In conclusion, U.S. businesses should strive to understand their responsibilities and risk under the GDPR and take steps to ensure compliance.